Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Overwatch Weekly. This week is a little different than what I've been doing for the past couple of weeks. I'm going to go back a little bit to kind of the traditional, just kind of give you the news. The main reason is because the big thing that happened this past week is something I've already talked about in a number of videos. I don't want to talk about it too much again, but I will talk about a lot of the other stuff. So, the big thing, of course, from this past week is that we have a new hero, Hero 32. It is Echo. She is a damage hero, which I know a lot of people were a little upset by, myself included. I wanted to support Hero so that we had at least an even number of, or the same number of tanks and supports going into Overwatch 2. That will not happen, as we have seen in interviews with Jeff Kaplan, that Echo is going to be the last hero before Overwatch 2. And we don't know when Overwatch 2 is coming out yet. That was not shown yet or confirmed yet, but we do have some stuff involved in that. But we'll get into some of that stuff here in a little bit as a separate kind of situation. First, I want to kind of talk about just Echo in general a little bit, and then we'll get a little more into what that all means. So Echo, of course, being a damage hero, has some very interesting abilities, as I'm sure you've all seen. I made a video talking about her abilities, so if you want to see that, I'll link that in the description, and you can check it out. So that is there for you if you want to see it, as I'm sure some of you will want to do if you haven't already, which I'm sure most of you have. I wouldn't be surprised if all of you who are watching this now have already seen the abilities for Echo. So there's a lot of questions surrounding Echo, mainly because a lot of people think her ultimate ability might be too strong, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to see what those abilities are, like I said, I would suggest checking out the video in the description. There's also her origin story, her dev update. I'll have that stuff linked in the description as well. I also did a video on Monday where I talked a bit about Echo and the Overwatch League and all that kind of stuff. So I've talked a lot about Echo. There's a lot of places you can go to learn more about Echo and listen to people talk about Echo. I'm not going to do it all myself. I'm sure most of you want to hear some other opinions every so often. So jumping off of that, I'm going to link to two different videos that were put out by Stylosa that I specifically watched. Their interviews he did. One is with Jeff Kaplan. One is with Jeff Goodman and Gary Fonville, who are from the hero development side. What I'm not, I'm sure there's plenty of other interviews out there about Echo, because there's a huge event that went on where all of these people were, at the Irvine headquarters and they were talking to everybody. But right now, those are the only ones I know about, so I have those linked. They're very good. I always love interviews, and every time I can find an interview with devs, especially if it's a video, I'll always try to link it. Because to me, it is the best way to really get accurate information out about what's going on, because it's the people who made the game and the people who are the ones deciding what's actually happening. So that is always why I will link all of those. So let's go now to the next story, which is one about Jeff Kaplan, and this is from the forums. There was a post called "Give us an option to not hot join quick play games" by Flux. He said, "I can write an entire essay why I would not want to join a quick play game that's already in progress, of the million reasons that have already been mentioned before. Imagine being in a 7 to 10 minute queue, and when you enter, you are immediately met with a defeat screen. That is reason enough, no more. Add a little checkbox in the option menu or when you queue that lets you disable hot joining / fill existing games. Thanks." And Jeff replied, Unfortunately, it's best for matchmaking to sometimes substitute you into a match as a backfill. With that said, we would like to make some improvements. These are tricky and take time. We did recently fix an issue that has not gotten live yet. Once you serve as a backfill, there's supposed to be a cooldown on subbing you in again, but currently if you switch modes a lot, i.e. from quick play to mystery heroes, you can be backfilled multiple times in a row. In an upcoming patch, this will be fixed. Again, we want to do more improvements to backfilling over time, but simply removing the system is unlikely to happen. Somebody then replied saying, surely you guys can agree though, waiting possibly 10 minutes in queue only to be backfilled directly into defeat screen is ridiculous. Jeff replied saying, being backfilled into a defeat screen is not ideal, no matter how long you wait. We want to address these issues. With backfilling, we'll never be able to entirely eliminate them because of how some of the game modes work, but certainly it can be better than it is today. So just those two things alone, very interesting, and something that I think is very telling. Jeff also had another part here where someone else said, we could use some extra XP for backfilling though. 400 doesn't seem like anything when you wait for 10 minutes and then promptly presented with a defeat screen. And Jeff said, backfilling as it relates to roll queue and possible long queue times is a separate issue that we've also been working on. We agree that it's an issue. So Jeff has been saying everything he can really to kind of talk about that issue. So you can find stuff about that linked in the description down below. There was also an interesting thing that he did where there was a post where someone said OW2 plus Orisa plus OW14 blade equals question mark. And Jeff said, perhaps OR16? And then that was where he left that one off. The final thing I want to talk about this week is Overwatch League related stuff. Of course, the Overwatch League online matches are finally back this weekend. So you will get a video from me on Friday where I give you my predictions for all 16 matches happening this weekend. We are back to 16 matches a week like we were back last season when there were 4 match days, 4 matches a day. But this time it's 16 in 2 days, so everyone prepare for that. But that's not the main thing I want to talk about. The main thing I want to talk about is the new Doomfist Thunder skin that is going to be added to the game tomorrow. And it is the San Francisco Shock Championship skin. And it will be available from March 26th until April 9th, I believe. It's an interesting skin. I think it's a really nice skin. I don't love it as a San Francisco Shock Championship skin. However, I did watch the video they put up where they kind of talked about the skin. And there's a lot of really interesting stuff to it that I didn't notice when I was first looking at it, but it's much more obvious when you like watch the video. Oh, that's kind of cool. There's some very subtle nods to the Shock in there. I wish the color scheme was a little more Shock-like. I think some of it was a little lacking. The arm, for example, is like black and purple when I think it should be like orange and black because that's the color of the Shock. But then with this purple color, who knows? I think it's a nice skin. I don't love it. I do like it a lot as a skin. I will definitely get it when it drops tomorrow. But I think in terms of like Overwatch League Championship skins, I like the Spitfire skin because it feels like a Spitfire skin. But I'm still expecting us to get a Sinatra MVP skin. I don't know what to expect the MVP skin to be, but I'm excited to see. I think it's going to be a Zarya skin. I think Sinatra has confirmed that in the past, but I'm not positive. But I hope it is, because I'd love to get a nice Zarya skin, because Zarya is one of the heroes that has the worst skins in the game. So I'd like to get a nice Zarya skin. But that's everything I have for you today. Links to everything I talked about will be linked in the description down below. But I hope you enjoyed. If you did, consider liking and subscribing. And comment down below your thoughts on anything about any of the stories that I talked about today. But I'm going to get out of here. So thank you once again. Hope you all have a wonderful week. Hope you're all staying safe and quarantining and practicing social distancing. And I'm going to get out of here. So, yeah. Bye-bye.